Hey guys, welcome back to the hopefully long-awaited segment, Beard Talks. Father's Day or Dad's Day edition. So I wanted to kind of make a video talking about my dad, talking about just the influence he's had on me. He's actually the reason I ever wanted to grow a beard in the first place. There's this picture right over here of my mom and dad on their wedding day. I absolutely adore it. Obviously, they're my parents, so I'm going to adore it. But it was the first time I think I'd seen my dad with a full beard. He usually just did the little goatee thing, I guess. I'm not really sure what he called it. But he used to do that, and it looked great on him. But ever since I was little, I really enjoyed the beard aspect of it. And I'm like, you know what? As a kid, I would like tape stuff to my face or put cotton balls on my face or make myself look like Santa Claus because that's about all I could do. Ooh! Also paper plate beards. Those were the bomb. Not really, but that's okay. But I'm very thankful for that because a lot of people think it's rebellion, just laziness for my beard. But really, it's me. It's something I've identified with. It's something kind of who I am since I was young. It's just now I can actually grow one myself. So, seeing as how tomorrow is Father's Day, I was trying to think of when I'm actually post this, but since tomorrow's Father's Day, I wanted to talk a little bit about my dad. And seeing as how his birthday obviously is later this year, since there's a birthday every year, but he turns the big 6-0. It's really weird saying that because I feel like he just turned 50, although I would have been 11. I don't know. It's just, this year's big. He's been working his butt off. You guys may not know it because I don't really talk about my parents very much. I live at home, and my parents help support me throughout college right now because I go to Johnson County Community College, and it's very close to my house. It's about 10-15 minutes away. And it's a community college, so there's not dorm life, so I can't really do that, and I don't make enough, and I don't really have a good enough money mentality to save up to be able to accomplish this, like living on my own and stuff like that. That's what I'm working towards. But no matter what we've gone through as a family, no matter the few times my dad's been laid off and the multiple instances where things got difficult, they never let me realize that. They did their best, and they succeeded in making it to where I didn't have to worry. And nowadays, in today's society, and seeing so many people not so well off, I thank God every day for my parents, for what they did to supply for me, to provide for me, to feed me. My parents are the absolute best. I couldn't ask for more. My dad has helped me through so many things. He's built me so many things. My dad's a carpenter, so he's done all these projects. When I was young and I wanted to have a fort, I went out to Columbia, Missouri, where the rest of my family lives, with my mom. My dad stayed here because he had to work. And I come back to this phenomenal cardboard 2-story durable fort that my dad had cut out, architecturally designed, and glued together multiple layers where I could actually get on the second level and play around. He painted it all camo. It was about probably from the end of the table to about right here. Probably about right here, knowing when I was young. It seemed gigantic. It was up to about right here. We fit it in the basement. I played in that for so long, but coming home and seeing that, my gosh, it made me so happy, because I was a very rambunctious kid. Heck, some days I'm surprised my parents did so well with me that they did. I've had ADHD since I was young. I was actually diagnosed by my second grade teacher. It was hard for me to focus, but you know what? Throughout all that, my dad has ADHD, and has since he was young as well. But he has had almost, 45 years, almost probably 48 years of experience of managing those things where your brain is scattered and you can't focus and all these things on his own. I've only been doing that for the past 8 months. I've been off medication for the past 8 months. But it just shows the strength of my dad. There was this one time I came home from school, and my dad had worked for a company for 35 years, 33 to 35 years. It was first it was called Midwest Drywall, then it was called Heartland Specialty Contractors. It used to be where the Quick Trip is off of Shawnee Mission Parkway, and over that way, not many of you guys will know where I'm talking about, but that's okay. He'd worked there for so long. I was kind of raised in that building. I used to go there all the time. I used to go out on job sites with my dad and hang out in the trailers and stuff like this. But that company was bought out by Skyline Construction or Contracting, and then my dad was laid off from that, and that wasn't that terrible. But then my dad got a job at KDC, Kevin D. Christian Contracting, and he had that for quite a few months, not a full year, I don't believe. Maybe it was a year. But he'd been working there, and he'd been going great. He was fantastic at the job he was given. The thing is, Kevin, the owner, didn't like that. Didn't like the fact that my dad knew what he was doing, and didn't really like being ordered around when he knew that things that Kevin was saying were maybe wrong, or they butt heads, and all these things that I didn't realize as the young kid I was. I was in high school. I think I just started high school. Or maybe I was in middle school. But where I'm getting at is my dad's strength is phenomenal. My dad was laid off of that job, and he had a company truck. So for my end of the story, I get off my bus at the end of the street when I was in school, and I start walking down the street, and I see my dad's truck coming up the street and almost to the end. And I wave and I'm like, "Hey, Dad!" Just saying it out loud, even though he probably didn't hear me. And I get closer, and I notice weird things. I'm ADHD, things catch my eye. I noticed an earbud, or an earpiece in his ear, which just so happened to be the Bluetooth my dad had returned the day before to get a different one. The Bluetooth was the one that Kevin had kept. So I get closer and I realize it's not my dad, it's Kevin. And I'm running through my mind, why is Kevin driving my dad's truck? Why is my dad not driving his truck? Why is our truck not in the front of the house? And I walk down the street a little bit more, and I look at the front porch, and I see boxes. And I know right then and there, my dad was laid off again. But not in the nicer way of being laid off. Kevin said, "You're done." In my eyes, I don't know, I was young at the time, but in my eyes, Kevin said, "You're done, pack your stuff up, I'm taking you home." And he dropped everything off, left my dad at home, and then drove off. And I walk into the house, and the thing that hurt me the most at the time, So I walk into the house, and I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm home. Our door's over there, and the stairs are right there. So I walk around, and I go up and start going up the stairs, and I hear my mom and dad crying. My parents don't. My dad, he's a big tough guy, but he's a big teddy bear. And he cries at TV shows and stuff like that. He doesn't like to say, but heck, his favorite show is Dancing with the Stars. No, sorry, So You Think You Can Dance. Second, Dancing with the Stars and America's Got Talent. All these things. I love my dad. But seeing them cry broke me. I didn't sit in the room. I gave them both a hug and I said, I'm going outside. Because I knew that if I stayed there any longer, I would break down too. And they didn't need that. They didn't need to try to comfort me. They needed to get that out of their system, and I needed to go deal with my own anger. Because Kevin knew me. Even just briefly, but Kevin knew me. And when he was at the end of the street, he just glanced at me and then drove off. And that stuck with me. So I go outside in the backyard, and my dad's poor shed. It's destroyed. I like knives. I like throwing knives. I specifically like my throwing cards. So I go out there and I throw my throwing cards for a good 2 hours straight. Full force. And I threw my shoulder out. And it hurt like a son of a gun the next day. And I went to the nurse to get some Tylenol, and she's like, what'd you do? I'm like, well, I told her the story, but I left out the throwing knives, and I set a tennis ball. And I got put through anger management classes. Well, I wouldn't call them classes. I had to go meet with the counselor 3 or 4 times. That was freshman year, because I was at North. But yeah, I mean, all throughout that, my dad, that one time, my dad cried. But the rest of the time, my dad searched for a job. He worked. Now he's at Bratton Brothers Contracting, which has been a phenomenal job. I love the guys up there. I know they love Dad, and Dad loves them. My dad used to be a skateboarder. I like to call it the original parkour. But my dad used to do free running when he worked at apartment buildings. My dad was an Okie. He wouldn't wear shoes. He was a skinny, lanky guy. He'd go do things, all these crazy stuff. He's broke his shoulder blade in half. He's had a pane glass window fall on his leg. All these other injuries and all these stupid things that I absolutely love my dad for. He was in one of the Oklahoma newspapers for skateboarding and stuff like that. But he's such an inspiration to me for strength, for what it is to be a man, for what it is to be a loving man of God. I don't tell them enough, and I should, but I love my parents. I love them so much. They've done more things for me than I can ever repay. And one thing, I think I'm gonna end it here, but one thing I love the most about my dad is whenever we have people over and I'm like, hey Dad, tell stories. Tell them some stories about your scars. And then he goes and he throws his leg up on the table. He's like, you want to know how I got this scar? Here, let me tell you. You want to feel it? You want to feel how deep this thing is? You want to feel how wide this thing is? My dad is one of the biggest. He doesn't like it necessarily when I call him a goofball, but to me that's a term of endearment. I love my dad so much. He's one of the biggest goofballs, one of the biggest lovable teddy bears you'll ever meet. He's taken in many of my friends who have gone through stuff and just been like, hey, I love you. Aaron's become part of the family. Carly's become part of the family. My dad, I don't have words to describe him. He's my dad, and I wouldn't ask for another. But guys, thank you for watching this, for sharing in my love for my dad, or watching me talk about my love for my dad. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, soon to be fathers, been fathers for a while, all these things. Thank you for what you do for your children. You are loved for more than you realize. Thank you guys for everything you've done. I love you guys. It's been Chase Scott for the Weekly Beard. Keep growing, keep living, keep doing you. See you guys next time. Bye.